us a little bit about what happened to you, Dr. Webster.
Well, I've been involved in helping sporting teams to realize their true potential. So I'm prepared to work for the Cardinals if I get an offer. No. And I was in India helping the Indian cricket team.
Yeah.
And while I was there, I got something like the flu-like illness. And then I went back home, and I thought I'd gotten over it. And then one morning, I woke up, and I tried to sit up in bed, and I couldn't sit up. I had no balance.
Wow.
Then I tried to move my legs, and I found that the will was there, but the legs wouldn't move. So I realized then I was paralyzed from my waist down. And I had no control over my bladder or anything. And it just came on suddenly like that. It was a terrifying thing. No feeling, no movement, nothing. No balance. So I was taken to the hospital in Barbados, and they started to look after me there. And while I was lying in bed, you know, I remembered what some Buddhist priest told me in Sri Lanka when I worked there years ago, that when you're faced with any challenge, first of all, you must have love and kindness for yourself first, well, for the Almighty first, then yourself, and then for the people around you. And the second thing was that you must have a proper insight into reality on what is really happening with you without distorting it or magnifying it in any way. And the third one was communication, and mainly communicating with yourself in a very positive way. So those were some of the things on which I built my recovery. And I also knew that, you know, medical treatment, well, you had it's like 3 legs. The first one is that you take a whole heap of pills, and that's the most popular one that everybody gets so wrapped up in. The second one is intervention, where they can do surgery on you, or they can give you oncology or something like that. But the third one, and probably the most important, that is neglected very, very badly, is self-care. You take responsibility for healing yourself. That is what I did. And I also said, you know, look, Webster, don't be an imposter. You have been teaching athletes and sportsmen all around the world about how to perform better using all these fancy techniques. Use them on yourselves. But I came to terms with the situation, and I said, look, if I don't recover from this illness, I won't be able to walk. I'll change my lifestyle. But I still have my most valuable assets. That's my mouth and my brain. So that is where I started from. And then I started to employ the techniques that I've been teaching athletes about how to improve their own performance. And it was really about the power of the mind, the visualization mainly. And every night I used to visualize myself playing golf at my favorite courses here in the United States, playing well, playing different shots very well, and winning.
This is while you were on your back?
While I was on my back, and I had a lot of time to do that.
Wow.
So I mean, I must have made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of replay of that tape. And I said to the doctors I think it was February or late January, I said, I'm going to the United States in June. I'm going to play golf at my favorite golf courses. And they said, look, you're a medical doctor, don't be stupid. You know,
you're not
be
realistic.
Realistic. You cannot, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. But I kept on with that. And incidentally, your good friend, Reverend Hall, was my spiritual advisor. He's a famous Barbados cricketer.
Yeah.
And he came in one night and prayed with me for an hour. I thought he wasn't going to stop, so I knew I was going to get better. Anyhow, I started to recover and recover. By June, I was in the United States.
Wow.
And I started to play golf.
Wonderful.
You know, I was walking again, but I had to learn how to sit up.
Right.
I had to learn how to turn on my tummy and crawl like a baby.
Wow.
Right? I had to learn then how to stand,
Wow.
how to take the first step, how to walk with a walker,
Right.
and then how to walk with a cane, and eventually. And that took some time. But I was determined
Right.
because in my mind, the thing about recovery is not about what you want. It's about seeing what you want as already achieved. So when I was seeing myself playing golf, I mean, the mind was working. And you know, there was a great Russian scientist many years ago who said that human experience is not only influenced by your experiences, human behavior, not just by your experiences, but the images that you create in your mind about the future, right? And not only does the mind create these images, but it does everything in its power to bring those things about. So this was the theory on which I was working. Anyhow, when I came up, this is a funny bit of, when I came up to the United States, I went to the golf course, my friends were waiting for me. One of my friends said to the others, oh, you know, Rudy is coming up, you know, he was paralyzed and we have to be kind to him, you know. And I don't know if he can swing the golf club properly, you know, his balance is poor. Poor Rudy syndrome. And I played along with them. And then we started to play. And I was hitting the ball straight. And I think I did very well. I beat most of them. And then the abuse started, you know, you're an imposter, but there's nothing wrong with you, et cetera, et cetera. But the purpose of this story is to tell you that pills and medicines and surgery can only do so much. Yes. I think the majority of the healing is controlled by you. That's and what true. Goes on in your mind. I mean, there's a healing energy inside of you. I think there's a healing energy that comes from the Creator as well. When you put the two of them together, it is very powerful. That is why prayer, along with these mental visualizations, are so powerful.